your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Jeff, who was the winner of number 11? We had Cam Warren, Jakeem Grant, Tariq Owens, and Zach Smith.
Jakeem Grant won 73.3 to Tariq Owens 42.5. Cam Warren 7.9, and Zach Smith with 2.4.
That's a pretty high number for Jakeem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if you'd asked me, I would have thought it'd been just a little bit closer between him and Cam and Tariq.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all-time leading receiver at a school that throws the ball around a bunch or has in the past. I mean, obviously, it's pretty big numbers he put up. Tariq had just such a great one season,
right?
And took you so close to a national championship. And if you get that stop and win the game, maybe it's a different deal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that answer changes, but I think he definitely deserves consideration. And Cam was really, really good for his time here as well, and so was Zach. So there's a reason these are sometimes hard to answer. That one was definitely difficult.
Mm-hmm. Was a difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, considering that I didn't even think my guy was not even on the list.
Right, you went with somebody else. Dan in Dallas says this: another embedded opportunity, Chuck. Next year you can be embedded with the cup. No players, just the cup. I think that would be a lot of fun to travel around with a cup. But those guys that have been the keepers of the cup, those guys have been together 25 years. 25 years.
I don't know, Chuck. It sounds like an old boys club.
Keepers of the cup. Brandon says this: if your shoulder would get sore from holding up a camera or questioning if you can get a 37-pound trophy over your head, you may need to start hitting the gym. We're not getting any younger, fellas. I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure I could lift a 37-pound trophy over my head, just because of I've got a kind of a wonky shoulder. So I'm not sure that maybe the adrenaline rush, like Jeff said, I would give it my best effort. I'd certainly want to try. I'd be like, hey, hold this up over my head, and then I'll hold my arms up, and then you just put it in my hands, and I'll hang on to it.
Let's go ahead, an idea.
So, but that would be.
We could just pay somebody to hold it up there for you. No. Just write a check, right?
No. Sure, I guess you could. I guess you could. That certainly is a fair comment. 6:35 this morning here on the Morning Drive. So we'll have another Who Wore It Best at 8:15 this morning. Did you see where Deion Sanders got his foot amputated? I mean, he has had struggles with.
Did they put it in his mouth?
No, they did not put it in his mouth. That's kind of funny. Not really, but I mean, but he's had circulation problems. He'd had some toes removed previously, and so and he's a very young man. He's like 56 years old, and when you consider things, he said this: I'm proud of my amputation. He said he's determined to fight back against the health challenges. His journey has been filled with numerous surgeries and significant setbacks. He said, I'm getting better. My health journey has been a tremendous challenge, but a learning experience as well. I remember last year, close to this time, I had 2 surgeries in my thighs to remove blood clots, and the goal was just to run out to the first game before my team. His problem lies in severe blood clots that have plagued his legs over recent years. He's undergone 12 surgeries to alleviate the pain caused by these clots. And since 2022, 2 of these procedures have resulted in the amputation of toes. So, man,
Oh, that's kind of sad.
It is. It is sad. It is sad. And when you think about coaches and how active they are and what they do, on their feet and out in the weather and things along those lines, and certainly he'll probably have a golf cart, and my guess is at some point in time he'll have something that will help him, some kind of device that will be attached to his leg that will help him get around. But still, it will take some time for him to get to that point where he can have some kind of prosthesis for his mobility. But man, that certainly sucks for Dion. I used to run a camera for the South Plains College basketball team, and your shoulder does get sore from it sitting on it for hours. I would wear a hoodie for extra cushion, but it doesn't help much sometimes because of the weight.
Yeah, that was kind of my point. If it's got any kind of weight to it whatsoever, you keep your arm up like that for so long, I don't care what it is, it's going to get sore and you're going to get stiff from doing it. It doesn't have to be that it's super heavy. I just think that position would be awkward because that's not normal for your arm, and I think you would get sore. It's not about the weight being too much. It's not like you can't lift it up there or whatever. The cup's a different deal. Now, holding something that heavy above your head is a different deal, but I don't think 37 pounds is that much. Now, I wouldn't want to be doing 12 reps over and over again with the cup, but I think most of us could probably lift 37 pounds over our head unless we have a bad shoulder. Then it's a different deal.
Yeah. Somebody says this, OMG, Jamie, you made me choke on my Diet Coke.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Now that we have gotten back to the joke, Chuck got very serious very quickly after the joke.
He's just, you don't wish bad things on people at all, but I don't know. You feel bad for people when things go wrong. At the same time, he has become just incredibly obnoxious. Just incredibly obnoxious. But that doesn't mean I want him to lose his foot over it.
Right, yeah.
I just would like him to shut up.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Just sometimes. You don't have to do it all the time. Just sometimes.
They put it in his mouth.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is June the 25th, which means 6 months from today is Christmas Day. Here's Jeff McGuire.
Better get that Christmas shopping done soon. A lot of people are going to be upset at you if you don't get it done when you've got a 6-month warning.
Yeah, well, just trying to be helpful.
1934, New York Yankee Lou Gehrig hits for the cycle, beating the White Sox 11-2. 1968, Bobby Bonds hits a grand slam in his first major league game playing for the San Francisco Giants.
Nice. That's a way to get it started.
1976, Texas Ranger Toby Harrah?
Toby Harrah.
Toby Harrah? Okay. Is the only shortstop not to handle a fielding chance in a doubleheader.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. He was a very good, he's a very good player. He's a pretty good player.
1980.
It's funny, I remember him as a third baseman, not as a shortstop, so I wonder if I'm just remembering incorrectly.
1988, Cal Ripken Jr. plays his 1,000th consecutive game. 1997, in the NBA draft, out of Wake Forest, power forward Tim Duncan is the first pick by the San Antonio Spurs. 2 years later, San Antonio Spurs beat the New York Knicks 78-77 in Game 5 for their first title in franchise history. Anybody want to guess who the MVP was?
Wouldn't be their last. Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is correct.
Yeah.
2009, now playing for the Nationals, former Red Raider Josh Bard goes 3 for 4 with a double and a 9-3 win over the Red Sox. And in 2023, Philadelphia Phillies send 10 batters to the plate in the 8th inning in one of Jamie's favorite type of innings. They score 4 runs on 1 hit, a single, 3 walks, 2 hit batters, an error for a 7-6 win over the visiting New York Mets at Citizen Bank Park.
It's a bad deal.
But it was against the Mets, so it's okay.
They probably lost baseball. There were fans watching that game that said, I'll never watch baseball again. This is so boring.
Happy National Strawberry Parfait Day.
Okay.
And remember, parfaits have layers, like ogres.
Like what?
Ogres. It's been too long since you've seen Shrek. Ogres have layers, like an onion. Who didn't like a parfait?
How do ogres have layers?
Because, they're like an onion. There's many things to them. You guys really need to watch Shrek.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Everybody loves a parfait. Happy birthday to Jimmy Walker, who turned 77.
Like good times, Jimmy Walker?
Mm-hmm.
Dynamite, yes.
Matt Schaub, 43, and Carlos Delgado got it at 52 today. And on this day in 1950, armed forces from the communist North Korea smashed into South Korea, setting off the Korean War. The United States, acting under the direction of the UN, quickly sprang to the defense of South Korea and fought a bloody and frustrating war over the next 3 years. Over 55,000 American troops were killed in the conflict. Korea was the first limited war, one in which the U.S. aim was not a complete and total defeat of the enemy, but rather the limited goal of protecting South Korea. For the U.S. government, such an approach was the only rational option in order to avoid a third world war and keep it from stretching infinitely finite American resources too thinly around the globe. And that is This Day in Sports History.
This Day in Sports History. All right, just the note on Toby Hara. He was the Rangers' regular move to third base.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were.
So later on, he went to third base.
Yeah.
That's when I would have noticed him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he would have played, and he played for the Rangers through 78. Then went to the Indians, Yankees for a year, then back to the Rangers for the 85-86. 4-time All-Star, and he's in the Ranger Hall of Fame. And the other note on him was that he and Bump Wills, Maury's son, hit back-to-back inside the park home runs in 1977.
That would have been fun baseball.
That would have been fun baseball to see. Yep, absolutely. All right. And that is This Day in Sports History, 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Let's see. I'm with Jeff. This is from Jordan. I will find a way to get that trophy over my head, the Stanley Cup. Adrenaline can solve a lot of weight problems. Okay. Bullfighter says, I don't know, Chuck. I've written down on my list most athletic move, putting soup in a container with 3-year-old on shoulder. And you made it sound like it was for a while. Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten that I'd said that. Like that was...
It's quite a move.
It was quite a
feat.
Quite a feat. Putting soup in a container with a 3-year-old on my shoulders. Yeah, well...
I think hanging over your shoulder. I mean, I have it remembered as you holding him by a foot, and he was, laying basically down your back. That's the vision I have. I don't have him like up on his shoulders.
Okay,
is that what happened or no?
To be honest with you,
your story.
I know. I can't remember the whole dynamics of the athleticism of the little phenom and where he was and placement on my shoulder. I do remember.
Well, this was your most athletic achievement.
Right, I know. Right.
Jamie, what's your most athletic achievement? Putting a dent in the center field wall?
I don't think it dented, and it was right center at Doubleday Field. I don't know. Climbing to the top of the tallest peaks in Texas and New Mexico.
See?
Yeah.
That's an athletic achievement.
I would probably go with that over the short hop double off the right field wall.
Hey, there was a dent in that wall after you got done.
I don't know that there was a dent.
You crushed
probably
that
not even
ball.
a smudge.
Maybe a smudge. Maybe just a slight little.
It hung on that wall for half a second because the amount of force that you put into it, Jamie. Mm-hmm. That's the story you need to learn how to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I've won points against John Isner on a tennis court.
See,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I actually got the ball back to Andre Agassi without dropping my racket from shaking so much.
That's that in and of itself is impressive too. Man, you're a regular, savant when it comes to taking on some of these legends.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Well, you've held your own. How about that?
I didn't.
You didn't embarrass yourself.
I didn't pass.
You
didn't expire.
You didn't embarrass yourself. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We'll have Ranger baseball and Astro baseball for you tonight. Astro launch at 6:40 tonight to take on the Rockies. Then the Rangers and the Brewers from Milwaukee tonight at 6:30, and Balls and Strikes at 7:10 on Double T 97.3. Speaking of baseball, and I saw this note last night, and you guys were just talking about it during the break, but the Phillies get a 1-3-5 triple play last night. The first time that's happened since July 11th, since 1929. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy how bad the base running was on that play. I mean, it was a kind of a liner back to the pitcher with runners at first and third, and they're both running on the pitch, and bad luck for the guy standing over there at first. He's 2 steps off the bag and tries to get back, but can't get back quick enough. Meanwhile, the guy at third base, who apparently felt like he shouldn't watch the game,
right?
He just took off running. He was past home plate.
Yes, there was no way he was getting back.
Yeah, no, he just kept going. And so they threw to first for out number 2, and then lobbed it over the third for out number 3.
It's kind of like they were going around the horn.
This guy's already started his nachos in the dugout.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. AJ reporting a scheduling change for the 2025 season for Texas Tech football. They were going to go to Colorado State on September the 6th of next year. That game was going to be the start of a home and home, but now Tech has bought out that road game. They'll pay Colorado State $1 million, and instead they'll take on the Golden Flashes of Kent State, and they get $1.5 million. So that game's going to cost you $2.5 million technically, but you get another home game, and so I'm sure the stupid easy math is the home game is worth way more than $2.5 million. Clearly, yeah. But boy, you really take a step down level of competition with
going back-to-back home games to start the 2025 season with Arkansas Pine Bluff and Kent State. Yeah.
And then Oregon State comes to town on the 13th. Man.
Which is a decent game, no question. That's a fun matchup, but those first two leave a little to be desired.
Yeah, so
that'll be a little bit of going through the motions.
I want to schedule
Hey, the South End Zone sure still looks nice a year in.
We're going to have a 20-member Ring of Honor class that for those.
Oh, wow, there was a shot. Man.
Why you got to take away people's joy?
Oh, man.
Why you got to take away people's joy?
I'm not taking away joy.
You're trying to take away joy. Stop taking away joy. Joy is good.
I just was making a...
Joy is love.
You were just taking a shot.
Making a suggestion there. Just making...
No one asked for your suggestion.
Oh, man.
They want to enjoy joy.
I noticed that we don't have a suggestion box around here anymore. So, not that I ever put anything in it.
It's actually closed for remodeling is what it is.
Well, you can put one. I mean, we can get one. I'll get one. You can put I'm pretty certain I won't read any of them, but you can put anything you want in there.
In the suggestion box?
Yeah.
I'm just worried we wouldn't be able to read most of them on the air.
Or read the handwriting.
Yeah,
that would be probably the bigger challenge. Yeah. In 2025, you'll play host to BYU, Kansas, Oklahoma State, and UCF. You'll travel to Arizona State, Houston, Kansas State, Utah, and West Virginia.
It's not really I don't know. It's not a very exciting 2025 schedule, to be honest with you. I really like the Oregon State game, and then the Oklahoma State game at home is fun. But I don't. It's just like there's no like pizzazz to that 2025 schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like not having Arizona on there. You do go to Utah, that'll be a different place. That'll be fun.
go to K-State. It's always a challenge.
Been there, done that.
Right. Houston,
not very well.
Not very well.
Lost there a lot.
I think people here, the people that I've heard that have gone to West Virginia football game, have had interesting experiences. They've enjoyed that.
Well, you haven't talked to Chris Level then.
Well, I mean, no, I guess not.
I remember Level getting bent out of shape with some West Virginia fans, and I thought it was an awesome story. He told him what's up.
He told him what's up.
Yeah.
Not so many suggestions on certain terms. Then the 2027 game now apparently with North Texas is up for discussion. That's supposed to be at their place. I would assume we're going to buy them out so that we can have 7 home games.
Sounds like it.
I mean, that's just.
I guess this is this typical? This is pretty normal?
Well, I think this is the new normal.
Yeah, okay.
I think this is the new normal because of the $242 million that you're putting into the South End.
We don't start getting a bad reputation or anything for backing out a bunch.
Well, at least we're contributing. We're contributing to. We're paying the fine. It's not like we're just going, hey, we don't want to. Something suddenly came up, kind of deal.
Like I said, it seems like it's somewhat. I guess this is somewhat normal for teams to do.
I mean, I don't like. I'm with you. I don't like breaking contracts.
Yeah.
I don't like breaking agreements. I think if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it.
Mm-hmm. But let's also remember, just a year ago, you were the one that was helping out when somebody, wanted to keep their rivalry game going with Oregon and Oregon State, and you were helping out, and you agreed to move something. Sure. So you were also showing that you're, someone that will help others. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right, and that was.
And there are a lot of Tech fans that weren't happy about that.
Yeah. I think it's more important to get people on campus than to have the exposure at North Texas. I mean, I don't think it's
exposure.
Well, I mean, that's what they're.
I don't think they need the exposure of playing at North Texas.
No, but I mean,
or you play with TCU every other year.
Right, right. But I mean, that's one of the things that they cite that they get a chance to play there. But I think people, they, like you said, we play at TCU, we play at Baylor, play at Oklahoma State. It's all in the vicinity.
Yeah, I don't think North Texas is doing anything for you.
I don't either.
Yeah, but at some point you agreed to do it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a pain in the butt to get to Denton anyway, so it's not very traffic friendly getting that into the Metroplex. At least it's been my experience. So I'm fine. Just write a check, make it go away. Come on in here. Come on down. We'll play 7 home games here. And the 2025 season will open up on August the 30th, Jamie. This year it's August the 31st. August the 30th. Pretty soon we're going to open on the 4th of July. By the time it's all said and done.
Because of one day and how the calendar breaks?
Yeah. It's just getting earlier and earlier. 7:22 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments, the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. So here we are, worried about 2027. We haven't even gotten to 2024 yet.
I'm not worried about 2027.
Yeah.
Concerned, maybe bringing attention to 2027.
Yeah. I do think that 2025 doesn't have as much pizzazz.
No, I think you're. Now that I look at that and went, yeah. Is there any place I really want to go?
But maybe that's losing Texas and Oklahoma from the conference kind of brings that
Sure
because those are games that get your blood flowing a little bit.
Yeah.
Now they're not on there.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna miss them, just like I miss Texas A&M and miss the hatred of some of the other schools that have.
And am I reading this right? We don't play Baylor or TCU next year?
You're reading this right.
See, and that's two schools that we hate, right? And that we love.
We should be able to play one of the schools we hate at least once a year.
Yeah, that's a terrible 2025 schedule.
But at least you get to host Oklahoma State. That'll be a fun
there's
game.
one.
That'll be a fun game. Oh.
Yeah, we hate them. Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. And then the road games. I mean, we don't. Going down to Houston, it's like whatever. K-State, hard place to kind of get to.
I think the Utah thing will be fun just because that's the first time the Red Raiders have played them.
And we'll probably hate them by the time we play them in 2025.
Very lackluster 2025 schedule.
Okay, I'll put that.
Thank you, Big 12, for not scheduling us against Baylor or TCU in the same year. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
That's dumb.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And there'll be some things in basketball where you go, why aren't we playing them twice each year? Or why do we have to play them twice each year, that particular school? All right, Jamie's question of the day is next at 7:30. It is 7:25 this morning on the Morning Drive.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, we are going to look today at the 4 new teams in the Big 12 Conference upcoming this year. I want you to tell me, for this season, rank them in order of the impact that you think they will make overall in the 4 major sports.
Okay, so we're talking Utah, Colorado, Arizona State. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think Utah's 1, Colorado's 2, Arizona's 3, Arizona State is 4.
We're just talking about this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Arizona 1, Utah 2, Colorado 3, Arizona State 4.
I think Arizona is definitely the no-brainer number 1.
Really?
Have you seen their basketball program?
And their baseball program and their football program?
I was just thinking about football overall. That's really what I was just thinking.
There was a part where I said the 4 major sports.
I may not have heard that comma in there. 4 major sports.
I think Arizona's the number 1.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
It's hard to put Colorado too high because they don't even have one of the sports.
Right, they don't have baseball. Right.
But Utah's not great right now in anything but football, but I still think football's so big. I think Utah's number 2 for me. I think I'll go. I don't think Colorado's going to be great in football anyway. Plus, they don't have baseball, so I'm going to put them at 4. And I'm going to
basketball's just eh.
And I'm going to go Arizona State at 3. Their women's basketball was pretty good this year, right?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go Arizona, Utah, Arizona State, and Colorado.
The reason I put Colorado above Arizona State, while they might not have the impact in wins, they're going to have the impact in attention in football with
That's
Colorado.
fair.
Yeah.
And that's going to draw attention to every game that they play in for the entire season. Where Arizona State is going to be fighting Houston for the worst record in the Big 12. That's a giant drop-off. That, while, yes, they don't have baseball, so that hurts them, I think they're going to bring more to the table than what Arizona State is across the board because of that.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
All right, so maybe I should amend my my rankings. I probably would agree with you on the Arizona because the basketball. I just
think their quality in all their sports. I don't know anything about their women's basketball program. I'll be honest, but I mean, the 3 men's sports. I think their quality in all those, and football they were. I mean, top 15 last year, or whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm. new coach, but I mean, they still have a lot of the same players coming back.
I still think they're a top 4 or 5 team in our.
And the baseball is going to be pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm. You'd think so.
I mean, that's just kind of their tradition. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and you know what kind of stinks is I always kind of liked Arizona basketball. I didn't really have any. I mean, it's not like I was going out and grabbing a T-shirt when they won something or anything, but I enjoyed the brand of basketball that they played. I think they were always really, really good.
You were a big fan of Steve Kerr and Sean Elliott, right?
I don't know about that, but I mean, I liked
both of those players when they were playing for Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Lute Olson, and I liked the style of play that they had, and I didn't have a problem with them winning the national championship or anything along those lines. Of course, it's been a number of years since Lute Olson coached, but anyway, I just always liked Arizona basketball. I always thought they had tremendous fan support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like you said, they had great players, including Steve Kerr. So yeah, I'd probably, upon further review, put them 1. But I think I'd still put Colorado 3 because of the Dion factor. I think he's just going to make some noise. And I don't know if it's good noise or bad noise. I think it's just going to be going to be
noise and wins, or just yapping of the mouth.
I think a little bit of both. I mean, I think they'll beat some people that they weren't supposed to beat. I don't know if they can get over 6 wins or not. They were 4-8 last year, but I think he's definitely going to create some. He's definitely created a buzz in Boulder. Mm-hmm. I mean, for the fans there. Now the question is, can he sustain it, and can he actually build some substance?
Well, right? He doesn't really have to sustain anything right now. He won 4 games.
Right, but I mean, I guess sustaining the momentum of the fans, maybe the fans backing him and being behind the team and being all in and supportive and all that kind of stuff. And, being, hey, we got this brash guy here that says he's going to do all this stuff. Well, you better pony up, Podna, because they haven't really done that. Right? Saddle up, all those kinds of things, and then Arizona State, I always kind of liked their logo, the Sun Devil logo. I always thought it was kind of cool. So we'll see. And Utah, I think we're going to find those folks in that team in that town, and I think we're just going to find it disgusting. I think they're just going to be an annoyance.
Who's that, Utah?
Yeah, Utah. I think they're going to be a bit of an annoyance.
Yeah, a lot of the folks that hang out on the web, on the socials, mm-hmm. they would tell you that the Utah fans are pretty obnoxious. I don't hang out on the socials, so I don't really see that, mm-hmm. but it'll be interesting to see.
I was going to ask you, what do you think the Utah fans think of us?
They probably don't. It seems like they think of us as they're pretty arrogant, so they don't think of us.
A fly, or just kind of
maybe
a gnat, or a dragonfly kind of thing, and it just goes in there and just kind of mm-hmm. creates a little bit of a annoyance or something along.
All we got to do is go beat them. That'll solve that problem.
Sure. Winning. Just
like that.
Winning helps with that. Winning helps with that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Somebody says, ha, 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 ha. They didn't say that. I'm saying this. Dion's not the only thing creating a buzz in Boulder. Right.
Well, I'm sure there's some bees there.
Right. Somebody else says, with the 8 added teams to the conference, there'll be plenty of chances to develop hatred for the new teams.
I don't disagree with that. At the same time, I always feel more rivalry with the teams that are in our state.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
The closer they are, the more rivalry you feel.
Yeah, I think that goes with every state. It's like the in-state battles or the close proximities, where you run across people that have a different, kind of mm-hmm. attitude about their team versus yours, all those things.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
What are you thinking when you looked up 129 left to go and you guys are down?
We're going to win the game. You know what I mean? You left us too much time. With this offense, we know we can score in a hurry. Minute 29 is way too much time for us, and I believe.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Michael, same question. Describe that touchdown for me.
I can't hear you.
Describe that touchdown for me.
Oh, man.
It's classic. Just classic. 8:16 this morning here on the morning drive. All right. Time for Who Wore It Best, right? We've been doing this all summer long. We've been having some fun with this with uniform numbers and things along those lines. So today's number is number 6. And number 6 has been worn by people like Graham Harrell, Nehemiah Glover, Tim Tadlock, and Tracy Sull. Is this one where the winner is like 90%? And Coach Tadlock gets 8, and Tracy Sull gets 2, and Nehemiah Glover gets maybe 1, something along those lines.
I don't know. I feel bad for Nehemiah Glover because I think
he was really good.
He was a really good player.
He was. I enjoyed watching him.
Yeah.
And Tracy Sull too. I mean, he was just.
Well, I don't feel as bad for him because I think Tracy Sull is the respect that a lot of people that think he deserves to be right in the mix in this conversation. Yeah, I don't think anybody feels like Nehemiah Glover is at the level of those other 3. I don't know if it's 90-10 or 98. I don't know.
Is it in the 80s?
I don't know, man. I mean,
there's only one guy here that took his team to the College World Series, to the national championship.
No,
and that's Tim Tadlock.
Right, I understand that.
This is just impossible. I mean, I list Graham Harrell as the greatest quarterback in your history. He did so much for your program by putting them on, I don't want to say on the map, but like getting them in front of so many people and so many college football fans being like, hey, Texas Tech, that's a fun team to watch. And Graham Harrell was a great part of that. But what did it lead to? It didn't get you to a college football playoff. He didn't win National Player of the Year, or I mean, he won some awards. I mean, you had a baseball program that had, been good for a lot of years, but
had never gotten over the hump.
And they had been 10 straight years without making it to the postseason. I mean, your baseball program was a bit of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And you made 4 trips to Omaha. You put yourself in the category of, one of the, if not blue bloods, the new bloods of college baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer a 10-year drought. It's a disappointment when you don't make it to a regional. It's what's wrong with this baseball team when we don't make it to a regional.
I mean, maybe it's 90-10 for Graham Harrell, but only if you're telling me that of the 90%, they're like 51-49 Harrell over Tadlock. And obviously, a football fan is going to be biased towards his side, and a baseball fan is going to be biased towards his side, or basketball. Same thing, right? The sport that you care about the most.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know football means the most because it's the front porch to your university, and how much how much money raised by football helps to support the other sports and all that. But man, to take you to 4 trips to Omaha just completely change the stars of your baseball program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about star players, but just change the.
Sure. How it's perceived.
I sure am not at 90-10. I sure am not. My vote. I mean, my vote's Tadlock.
And the other question I was going to ask you is it I don't know, fair is not the right word to use, because
That's not fair. This is not fair, Jeff.
This is definitely
not fair.
No one ever said this was fair.
No, what I was going to say is the only coaches who wear uniforms are the baseball ones.
That's true.
I mean,
that's right.
But
that's fair.
he also wore it as a player here.
I know, but I mean, you're not going to put him up against, if you're going to look at his playing statistics versus Graham Harrell, Nehemiah Glover, and Tracy Saul, he's going to finish fourth. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to say,
what were his statistics? You know any of them?
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
I have no idea. He played. Okay.
All right.
He played. I guess that's what I was kind of thinking about.
I think I saw once that he has the most or the second most errors in one season.
Is that right? Did you bring that up to him?
No, but I think I saw that once.
Yeah. If you were to kind of say, okay, of the coaches of all time, he's going to be right up there. He's going to be, if not the top second, in terms of success as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put Sharp and Kitley ahead of him because they've brought national titles.
Yeah,
but he's definitely in that next level.
Yeah. So anyway, I hear what you're saying. There's no question. I mean, the consistency in what they've done over the test of time. Yeah, he's Hall of Famer. No doubt.
I don't. This is. I want to throw a punch, Jeff.
Okay. Hey, on another.
And I would imagine there are a lot of Red Raider fans that feel the same way. And again, Tracy Saul was a great player too.
He was a great player.
Yeah. And Nehemiah Glover was really good and really fun to watch and all the above. But Tracy Saul was a great player. Yeah.
On another note, just to kind of, upon further review, I did get a note from Texas Tech. They are not going to have to pay $1 million to Colorado State to cancel that game in 2025. The university and Colorado State have come to a mutual agreement to cancel without penalty.
It's good.
So that's good.
That's great news.
Yeah, that's great news. So you don't.
So I wonder if that means that we'll return the favor as far as play a game at some point down the road.
Yeah. So they've come to an understanding, and so you're going to pay $1.5 million to Kent State for them to come here, but you don't have to pay the $1 million to Colorado State to get out of that.
Yeah, but anytime you're bringing somebody in for non-conference, that's not like a Power 5 or whatever, you're paying for it.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, like we're going to pay Abilene Christian this year and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's normal.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. If you compare their playing days, Tadlock is not in the conversation. Chuck is right. The only reason he is considered is because as a baseball coach, he wears a uniform. So, and that's somebody that usually kind of is.
He has a number. Yes.
Votes against me. Usually.
He has a number.
Mm-hmm. So
is that the only reason he's considered, or is there another reason? Like he led a team to 4 College World Series. Do you think that helps him be considered too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I mean, you don't get to.
The question you can ask is, should I take him off of that list? And the answer to that is absolutely not. He deserves to be in this conversation.
Well, who was another 6 that you would have considered putting up there?
We actually had a runoff. I'd have to go pull it up. Tracy Saul squeaked in, believe it or not, in our runoff.
I don't know.
I'd have to go back.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.